Hey guys, Big Todd coming to you from the Backyard Wellness Center here at the Big Todd compound, which is actually just the back porch where we keep our sauna and our cold plunge and, grills and things like that. But anyways, guys, today I want to give you my 1 year review on the Desert Plunge Wide and give you the pros, give you the cons, and give you what I would like to see them add to them. So hang with me and hang till the end because I got a couple pro tips for you. All right, guys. First of all, I want to start off by telling you that I am not paid by Desert Plunge and I am not sponsored by Desert Plunge or anything like that. This is just a product that I settled on because I wanted to invest in cold plunging. And for me, at the time when I bought, I thought this is the best bang for my buck. So here we go. Got that out of the way. Let's get on with the review. I do want to let you guys know I normally do my videos unscripted, as you can probably tell because I stutter and stammer through them, which I'll probably still do today. But today I have some notes with me that I've written down because I don't want to miss anything. I don't want to forget to go over anything that I've noticed with my Desert Plunge Wide over the year that I've had it. So, the Desert Plunge Wide 450 Grizzly. This is a fully self-contained cold plunge with chiller attached. So what that means is this is a cold plunge that you're going to put water in. It's going to run through a pump. It's going to run through a filter. It's going to run through a chiller, and it's going to come back into the cold plunge. And that's going to keep your water at a constant temperature. So what we don't have to do is we don't have to add ice every time and things like that. We don't have to wait for cold weather to come so we can cold plunge. We can cold plunge any time of the year, anytime we want. So this Desert Plunge Wide 450 is able to maintain its temperature due to two reasons. Number one being what it's made of. So this is actually a Grizzly 450 cooler, which has a ton of insulation around the sides, around the top, and around the bottom. So that's number one. And number two is the 1/4 horsepower active aqua chiller that is attached to it. This is the heart of our cold plunge right here. So a little more on the 1/4 horsepower active aqua chiller. It's a great chiller. It's one of the leading brands in the industry for reliability, as far as I can tell. As far as my research goes, that's what I can tell. According to Matt, the owner of Desert Plunge, the active aqua chiller is super easy to work on. And that's awesome for a DIY guy like myself that does it. I can't afford to just go buy a new chiller if this one dies. I have to figure out what's wrong with it and how to fix it. And Matt from Desert Plunge really seems to have a good knowledge of that. So if anything does happen to my chiller, I feel very confident that I can work on it and fix it. And the second thing about the active aqua chiller, there is not a ton of maintenance to do. I did the maintenance on the chiller for the first time and the pump for the first time after probably 8 months. I didn't realize that I needed to do maintenance on these things until I came across it. Now, I do have a video on that, so if you check the Dad Life of Big Todd channel, you'll see a video on chiller and pump maintenance, and it's very simple, guys. Super easy. Anybody can do it. So, ease of maintenance, very reliable, easy to work on. That's the great things about this chiller. Okay, on to the Grizzly 450. This is what they call a Roto-Tough cooler. It was developed for big hunting trips, going on big fishing boats and things like that. But it also says on the Grizzly website, when you're done with all that and you need to rejuvenate yourself or, kind of help relax a little bit from those trips, or maybe you got to ease some sore muscles or things like that, it says you can fill it with ice and water and you can get in it for a cold plunge. That's right on the website. I think that is awesome that they're promoting it on all those different platforms. And to talk about this combination, the chiller and the tub itself, the cooler, the reason why they work so good together, and I mentioned it a little bit earlier, is you don't need a 1/2 horsepower or 1 horsepower chiller because this is so well insulated. Now, let me tell you, I live in Central Florida, and it's hot here. It gets really hot here. Probably not as hot as some other places, you know, Arizona, Las Vegas, things like that. But it gets hot and it gets humid here. And this thing sits out on my back porch, and it is covered, but it gets direct sunlight for at least 5 or 6 hours in the morning, right in the old back porch here. And I'll tell you what, the insulation is absolutely wonderful. This thing doesn't miss a beat. By the way, with this Active Aqua chiller, you're going to see a variation in temperatures, okay? Don't think that your chiller's messing up. It is not. It is doing that by design. So like I have mine set on 45 degrees, and it will bounce up to 47 and back down to 45. That is done by design to save your compressor. So what'll happen is if you set it on 45 and then it hits 45 and it cuts off and then it comes back up just a minute or two later to 46 and it cuts back on, that hard cut on and cut off is going to do damage to your compressor. So they set it so it has more time to equalize. I guess that's what it does, equalize in between cycles. So it sets it at 2 degrees, which is going to give it a good amount of time. All right, so let's talk price for a minute. So in the realm of cold plunges with chillers, the Desert Plunge brand, whether you get the 400, the 450 wide, which this is, or the exclusive, they are relatively affordable. I'm telling you, I have seen cold tubs with chillers built in that don't hold their temperature nearly as well as a Desert Plunge, and they go for $6, $7, $8, $10,000. It's crazy. This thing, for me, was my best bet because, you know, I don't have a chiller running all the time. It's not sucking energy. It's staying exactly where I want it, and it come at a good price. I think right now they're going for like $3,330, which you can get $100 off that if you go to, well, I follow David Moss Jr. on YouTube and Instagram, and he's the one that got me turned on to this. And if you use his code MAUS, M-A-U-S, you can get $100 off. I did it, and it worked great. But relatively cheap at $3,300. You really can't find that in the market for something that's built this well. This thing is built like a tank, guys. I am not lying. I've stood on top of this, messing with my lights up there. I leave it running. You know, the pump runs 24/7. The chiller's, you know, coming on and off all the time. And for a year, I've had zero problems with it. Zero problems. You might hear $3,300 and be like, Big Todd, that's a serious investment. And I'm not going to disagree with you. It is a serious investment. $3,300 is not easy to come by. But if you're serious about getting into cold plunging and you want to do it daily, this is the only way to go. And this is your most affordable bang for your buck when you're looking at cold plunges with chillers on them. Now, what you can do is start out with cold showers and, you know, start adding ice to a tub and things like that. But I'm telling you what, it's going to get real expensive real fast, and you're going to get tired of buying ice and things like that. For me, cold showers don't work. I hate cold showers because I can't get cold all at once. It hits me here, it hits me there, and I don't like them. I don't like cold showers. But anyways, this is super affordable. I believe there's a way you can make payments on these as well through Klarna or things like that. If you're serious about cold plunging, well, first of all, you need to find out if you're serious about cold plunging. If you are, I'm going to tell you, this is one of the most affordable ways you can do it. Moving on. So what are you going to get for that $3,300? Well, let's take a tour. First of all, what you're going to get is this tub. All right. This is like I told you before, a Grizzly 450 cooler. All right. It's designed to keep things cold. All right. So you're going to get this tub with it. You're also going to get the 1/4 horsepower Active Aqua chiller. You're going to get a filter system that's mounted on the back of the tub. You're also going to get a Danner 1,200 gallon per hour magnetic pump, which, guys, these things are awesome. They are they're top of the line when it comes to these type of pumps. And then you're also going to get your power box here, and that's going to hold inside all of your stuff, and you even get an extra outlet there if you want to hook up ozone and stuff like that. But that's going to keep everything nice and watertight. As you can see, you're going to get all your plumbing, which include the cutoff valves in case you need to take a piece apart. You're also going to get a GFCI outlet if you don't have one. I already have one, so that's in the garage packed away in case I ever need it. The other thing you're going to get is a hose water filter. And you use this when you're filling your tub. You attach it to the back of the hose, or you attach it to the hose, and then you fill your tub through that. And that keeps anything from your city water that you might not want in there, you know, chlorine, all that stuff. It keeps it out of there. And I'm going to tell you guys a little pro tip here about this filter. I have used the same one that came with the tub for a year now, and I've done plenty of water changes, and I've done plenty of adding water, and this thing's great. It's still going. The last couple things I want to talk about are actually in your tub. So you're also going to get down here a strainer. You guys can see that, and it's even got a little something caught in it. But this is a strainer that strains the water, because that's where the water, the pump sucks the water from, is down there. So your strainer keeps any big pieces from getting to your pump that might damage your pump. And then you're also going to get this outlet here. That's where your water comes back. After it goes through the chiller, it comes right through a little hose right there. And something else I want to show you guys is down here. That is another plug, and that's how I drain mine. That's how I drain when I have to do a water change. That's how I drain my tub. And you know, the great thing about this tub, when it's delivered to you, it comes through a freight truck, but everything is inside of the tub. So what I like about that is everything's protected. All your crucial parts, like your chiller and your pump and your filter and your electrical box, they are all inside here. So this is protecting it when it's in delivery. The other good thing is this thing will fit through a standard door opening. You might have to turn it sideways, but it will go through a regular door opening. That's good if you want to put them inside. You want to put them in a basement, in a garage, or well, not really a garage, but in a room in your house or something like that. Let's get down to some dimensions now. Okay, so total space that you're going to need for this whole setup is 77 inches long and 50 inches wide. Now that 50 inches also accounts for the 10 inches that you need to be away from the wall. All right, so really this is 40 inches plus 10 inches to the wall. So we're just calling it 50. Interior dimensions. At the top, lengthwise is 46.5 inches long, and at the bottom is 41.5 inches long. It's 31.5 inches wide, and it's 22 inches tall. So now to get into this, these dimensions are great, and I can tell you these dimensions, and I read them online, and I saw reviews on them. But for me, I didn't know. I didn't know if I was going to fit. I'm a big guy, obviously, hence my name, Big Todd, right? I'm a big guy. I got wide shoulders. So I was measuring my shoulders, and I thought, well, I'll fit in the exclusive. I don't know. But then I got to thinking, I really don't want my shoulders to touch. I want the water to be able to flow around me. So I ended up going with the wide, and I'll tell you that story a little bit when we come to customer service. But in my research, I could never find a big guy, a regular dad, doing a review on this thing. You know, all I could find was influencers. You know, most of them are ripped, or they're little skinny girls and they're getting two in there. I couldn't find any reviews on the wide or the exclusive or the regular with just regular old dads like me. Now, I try to work out and things like that, but yeah, I got a belly on me. I'm a bigger guy. You know what? Most of America is that way. So I wanted to see something that would tell me, yes, you would fit in it, or no, you won't fit in it. So just for reference, just so you guys know, I'm 6 foot tall and about 310 pounds. I have the football player build. All right, let's talk about setup time. When I got to this to the house, it was super easy. They delivered it in the driveway. I got all the wrapping and the cardboard off of it, opened it up, pulled all the contents out, and then this thing was light enough. Me and my wife just carried it back here. And I would say within 1 hour, I had this thing completely set up and full. That counts the fill time filling it up. And guys, it doesn't take that long to fill this up. So it was super easy to put together. What's great about it is all the hoses and all the connections are numbered. So number 1 goes to number 2, number 2 goes to number 3, number 3 goes to number 4. It's really foolproof, and it's just hand tight connections. You don't need any special tools or anything like that. It goes together super easy and super quick. And I have a pro tip for you. When you're filling this tub for the first time, once it gets up to about halfway, you're going to want to get in there, okay? And you stay in there until that water gets up around your neck or wherever you want it. Then you stop the water. Then you get out. You let the water calm down, and you note where that water level is. Or you make a little Sharpie mark. That's not going to hurt anything. I know where mine is. It's right above the filler or the return line. That way, when you're refilling it after a water change or you just have to add water, you're not overfilling it and wasting water. Because I tend to do that. I'll overfill it just to make sure that I got it, even though I know where it is. And then when I first get in, I sit down and it overflows and it floods the back porch, which is not a big deal. It's all concrete. So, anyways, that's just a little pro tip to help you know where your fill point is. Let me talk about this. Like I said earlier, I keep this thing on this back porch year round. All year it's been here through the cold, through the hot, through everything. And I will tell you what, I've had absolutely no problems with it. No leaks, no cracks, no deformities. The lid has that refrigerator type gasket, and man, it keeps it sealed. We don't have to worry about anything. It's got the, as you saw earlier, it's got the three straps that come down, and that that can keeps that seal nice and tight, so everything stays nice and cold in there. Time to go over the pros and cons, right? All right, here are the pros, and I wrote them down. Major pro, the tub is big. It fits me. I love it. My shoulders don't touch. I can get down neck deep. I do have to bend my knees, but that's no big deal. Everything, my knees still stay submerged. My necks and my shoulders are all submerged. It's no problem at all. The tub is super insulated. This means your chiller doesn't have to work as hard, which is awesome. Safety latches on the lid. Love that. And it's also lockable in like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different places you can lock this thing. If you're in a place where you're worried about people maybe getting in and messing with it or something like that, or a bigger problem is maybe your kids getting in it that are younger and maybe not being able to get out. You just want to keep that locked for peace of mind where you're at work or whatever. Plenty of places to do that. I will tell you, a long shank lock, with a shank about that long, still doesn't fit. So what I recommend is they're called gun locks, and they've got a big like chain on them. Not really chain, but some kind of material, and it's got a big loop, and you can put that in there. You get them whenever you buy a firearm. I know that. And I know you can buy them outright. So look for something like that with a little bit longer shank. The long shanks on a lock are about that long. You're going to need something, probably about like that long, just because of the thickness and everything of the lid. Another great thing I love about this is once your tub is opened, you have what I like to call the kickstand. All right. So let me just show you. When you open it up, see that fell down? You got 2 places. It kickstand holds it open here, or you can go all the way open. Now, this is a great feature. If you're in an area that's open to air and you're not blocked by, like I'm blocked by the house here, if you're just in an open area and the wind blows and you don't have this kickstand, man, that's a heavy lid. That thing can knock you in the head, knock you out, close on you, and you're done. I mean, that's it. Kids get in here. They get rambunctious or whatever. The lid could fall and hit them, hurt them, or lock them in. You don't want any of that. This kickstand is awesome. I haven't seen it on any other cold plunges. This is actually awesome. Another pro is it does come with the, as I've mentioned several times before, the 1/4 horsepower active aqua chiller. For the money, one of the best chillers on the market. Very durable. Love it. It comes with the integrated filter housing and a bypass valve. So, if this thing's running, you don't have to turn the whole thing off to change the filter. You turn that bypass valve, it bypasses the filter and keeps running. You change your filter out, open that bypass valve, and you're good to go. It's got the integrated electrical box with all your connections there and your power cord. That's wonderful. The Danner pump I already mentioned. That's another pro, 1,200 gallons per minute, and it runs 24/7. At my house, it runs 24/7. Like I said, after 8 months, I finally did some maintenance on it, but it didn't really need it. It was clean as a whistle because I keep my strainer clear and I change my filters often. Maintenance. This thing is super easy to maintain. You can buy from Desert Plunge as an add-on to come with your tub. They can pre-install ozone on it for you. I chose to do it myself, DIY, which is very simple. I have a video on that as well, so check my channel for that. I chose to go with ozone, and I go with 12% hydrogen peroxide. You can get it at Lowe's or you can get it on Amazon. I buy it on Amazon. It's just a lot easier for me that way. There will be a link in the description below for that. If you want to use that, that's great. It gives me a couple cents on the dollar. It doesn't cost you anything more. But that's the only two things I use. I do an hour of ozone a day, and I do about a quarter of a cup of 12% hydrogen peroxide once a week. The other thing I like about this was the easy assembly. It was super easy. Like I said earlier, 1 goes to 2, 2 goes to 3, 3 goes to 4. They have it numbered for you. They make it foolproof. It is really awesome. The last two pros I want to talk about are very important, especially with dealing with companies these days. The Desert Plunge company is just a great company, hands down. Now, like I said, they're not paying me for this. They're not sponsoring me for this. They didn't send me any free products or anything. But it's a great company. And I tell you what, if you want to know more about the owner, Matt, go to David Moss's channel. He did a podcast with Matt, and you learn a lot about him, and he seems like a great guy. And this invention came from a great place, came from a great need, and it addresses a lot of problems many people have. The other thing is their customer service. Now, I told you I was going to tell you a little story about that, and this is what it is. When I first ordered the Desert Plunge, I ordered the exclusive. I wanted a little bit more length, and I wanted a little bit more height here, but I got worried. I think it was only 24 inches wide, and I started having my daughter measure my shoulders, and, you know, it was about 24 inches. I didn't want my shoulders to touch. So after I had put in the order, I decided to change. I just sent a quick email to customer service, and they were on it right away. I even changed the color. I think I was going from white to this aqua color. Not a problem. They changed the order, they changed the color, and they got it all right. And delivery got to me, and it was perfect, just like I ordered it. That doesn't happen very often, and they were happy to do it. Now, I have another story about their customer service. In one of my videos, I talk about this bracket right here and the bracket that holds the kickstand. And I talk about this pocket that holds the kickstand filling up with water. And then it would cause this bracket to corrode and the other bracket to corrode. Well, I wasn't even asking for anything. I was just mentioning it. Hey, you might want to drill a hole here so it can drain. Matt, the owner of Desert Plunge, reached out to me. He said, hey, look, we had some problems with some powder coating in the beginning. Let me send you some parts to fix that. He sent me all new parts, no cost to me. And he also said, hey, if you're into it, we have a kit now that will drain this pocket for you. We'll send that to you if you want to DIY it. I said, obviously, I'm a DIY guy. Send it on. I would love to have that. Also did a video about that. So if you have one of these, you don't have a drain in it, check that video out. But that just is a testament to their company and their customer service. He saw that part of the video. I wasn't asking for anything, but you know what? He felt compelled to reach out to me and say, hey, you have a problem. This is our product. We stand behind our product. We're going to send you some parts to fix it. And he did. He sent all the parts. I didn't need a new kickstand. You know, he didn't have to offer me that drain, but he did. And I got it all done. And I'm going to tell you what, I can't say enough about the customer service and the people running this company, Desert Plunge. They are top notch. And if you don't buy from them for any other reason, just buy from them for that reason. You know, I thought about doing a DIY, and I was going to buy the tub and then buy the chiller, and I would have saved a little bit of money. I would have saved a few $100s. But you know what? Having to not have to figure out everything, just having it delivered and it being ready to go and so easy to assemble, and then having the backup of that ownership and that customer service, that is worth the few $100s that I would have saved. Worth it 100%. I know, and I feel confident, if I have a problem with this, and it might not be covered under warranty, but I know Matt's going to help me. He's going to steer me in the right direction to fix any problem I have. I know if my chiller stops working, I can contact them, and he's going to tell me, hey, this is what you need to do. Check this video out, or look at this video. Here's the parts you need to order. And that's all I'm asking for. That's all you can ask for from a company. You can't ask them to warranty something like this forever. It'd be nice if they did, but you can't. It's not fair. But anyways, that is the last pro, but it's probably the most important pro. Let's get into the cons now. Honestly, I don't really have any cons. The only con I had was that this needed a drain and these brackets corroded. They fixed that. Not a problem. That actually went into the pro column. The only other thing that, and this is a stretch that I could think would be a con, it would be nice if the hoses came with insulation on them. I live in Florida. There is a lot of condensation that builds up on those hoses, and they're behind it, so they drip and they form water pools. Well, not a whole lot of water pools, but they drip and it kind of sits there. And it's concrete, so it doesn't really bother anything, but a little bit of green algae grows sometimes. I have to clean that off. That's one of those things that would be nice to have. Let's get to the next section now. Let's talk about what I would love to see Desert Plunge come out with. Okay. One of the things I would love to see Desert Plunge come out with is after the pump comes out and it's going to the chiller, if they would put a T connection there with a valve, with a hose connection there. So what we could do is we could open that valve, and maybe you would need another valve on the other end so you could turn that off so it doesn't go to the tub and it forces everything out. What you could do then is drain. You could hook a hose to it and drain it using the pump. Now, what I did do is this on this end where you have a plug that's not hooked to anything, they sell another plug that you can buy that you can hook a water hose to. I bought that. It was like $12 or something. I hooked a hose to it and I ran it about 8 feet out because I didn't want to flood my back porch anymore. It didn't work. It was super, super, super slow. And then in the end, it didn't have enough head pressure to push it out. So I scrapped that idea. I think I'm going to DIY this. If they just sold a kit where you could DIY it yourself, that would be awesome. I'm going to DIY it and I'm going to do a video on it and show you guys how to do it. But what I do now, currently, I just undo this plug and it floods this whole area, which is not ideal. It gets under our cheap steam sauna and it kind of gets everywhere. I would like to just be able to pump it out of the pump right down there where my pool drain is and be done with it. So that's one of those things that I would love to see happen. One of the tubs I would love to see Desert Plunge come out with is maybe a combo between the exclusive and the wide. I would love to see this wide be about 8 inches longer and about 3 inches taller. That would be the perfect tub for me. That would be my ideal tub. In fact, Matt, if you're watching this video, just know you could develop that and you could call it the Big Todd and would not hurt my feelings at all. In the end, overall, is the Desert Plunge and the Desert Plunge Wide worth investing your money in? Well, that comes down, you got to ask yourself, are you going to be serious about plunging? I am serious. I plunge twice a day, 6 minutes apiece, in the morning and in the afternoon. I'm serious about it. It took me a little while to talk my wife into letting me spend the money on it. And, we had to work some things there. But cold plunging has done so much for me physically in the inflammation that I've had. It's done a lot for me and mentally. Believe it or not, sitting in this cold water relaxes me. When I'm coming home from a long drive or something, a long trip, first thing I want to do is get in this cold plunge. I get in and I just relax. Everything just kind of melts away. I absolutely love it. So if you're into cold plunging, if you're going to be serious about it, this is absolutely worth the investment. And I say it's worth the investment because if you do the math, if you look at, let's just say you buy a cheap, halfway insulated tub. Maybe it comes with a lid. You'd be lucky if it comes with a lid. You get that $300 or $400. And then you decide you're going to go ice every day. You're only going to plunge one time a day, right? Let's say 6 bags of ice at an average of $3 a bag. And let's be honest, 6 bags ain't going to cut it to get it down to 45 or 40, 38 degrees, wherever you want to be. 6 bags really isn't going to cut it, especially here in Florida in the summer. But let's just say 6 bags times 365. Guys, you're double the price of this. You're double the price of this in 1 year of doing bagged ice and cold water. Yeah, it spreads it out over a long time, but I'm going to tell you what, it's a hassle going to get ice all the time, especially if you're doing it every day. I do it twice a day. So this is way worth the effort, way worth the money to have this. All right, so in the end, to wrap things up, overall, the Desert Plunge 450 wide is dependable. It hasn't failed me. It's easy to maintain. It's a great company with great customer service. And for what you're getting into, it's very, very affordable. So guys, this is my 1 year review on the Desert Plunge Wide 450. I hope that this helps you. I hope you learned something. And I'm super glad and super grateful that you're watching. But do me a favor, please like this video, subscribe, and leave comments. Please, any questions you have, please comment, because YouTube's doing some weird stuff and they like to see comments that shows them that this is a real video. It shows them that people are liking the video. So if you like the video, please comment, please subscribe. You can hit that notification bell and you'll see every time I come out with videos. I really appreciate you guys watching, and have a great day. I always like to cold plunge after I work out, jump in the pool, rinse off, and then directly in that 46-degree water. Yeah. See, knees are under, shoulders under. Everything's good, a little bit dripping out of the back, out that drain that I was sent from Desert Plunge. Guys, look, see, my shoulders aren't touching. It feels great.